I'm in Quebec City and I'm spending 3 nights in 3 different hotels at 3 different price points. And for each hotel, I'm gonna show you the room, the food, the amenities, the location, and the prices. But what's the best option? Do you book the affordable monastery option and forego creature comforts? Or do you splurge and pamper yourself, only then to suffer buyer's remorse for spending so much money? Let's begin. Oh, and by the way, before you roast me in the comments, I know I'm pronouncing these French words wrong, okay? I don't speak French, I barely speak English good, but I'm doing my best. This is Le Monastère de Augustines. I arrived late last night after a full day of sitting on trains. It was quiet and the bed was surprisingly nice. After a great night's sleep, the first thing I did in the morning was take a shower. The rooms don't have their own washrooms in this part of the hotel because, well, it's an old monastery. They're shared bathrooms and showers at the end of the hall, and they're very nice and clean. You get towels in your room, and they provide fresh bath mats in the washrooms. The room itself is actually great. It's obviously super small, but it's really cozy, very clean, and just darn comfortable. The walls are literally like 2 feet thick at least, so the rooms feel very private and quiet. There's so much character here too, with the old solid wood doors, the exposed beams in the ceiling, the swirly old glass windows, the big solid ancient wardrobe. Even the old desk and chair feel like they've been here forever. So far, I'm pretty happy with this stay, but there's way more still to cover. After showering, I headed down for breakfast at Le Vivois. This is without a doubt the most unique hotel breakfast I've ever had. Everything is healthy. Fresh organic fruit, real yogurt, granola with dried fruit, potatoes and veggies. Even the scrambled egg had veggies in it. But the most unique feature of this breakfast is the silence. That's actually a thing here. They ask you to eat in silence to honor the heritage of this sacred space. There's gentle music playing, really healthy and thoughtful food options, and incredibly everyone kind of adheres to it and kind of takes their time with breakfast, and everyone just seems to linger, unlike other hotel breakfasts where people kind of eat and run. And the coffee was great and the food was delicious. That was such a great experience. I really enjoyed it. After breakfast, I explored the hotel. This place is not only a hotel, but a wellness retreat and museum. It's run by a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving the heritage of the Augustinian sisters. In 1639, 3 Augustinian sisters arrived in Quebec from Dieppe, France, and they established the first hospital in North America, north of Mexico. I'm staying in the monastery, and the hospital still operates right next door. And this property has over 300 years of history, almost 400 years. Today, there's still some Augustinian sisters that live here, and they allow hotel guests to explore their gardens and property. From the lobby, you can head into the museum. It's free for hotel guests, and it displays info and artifacts from the property's history. It's fascinating to learn about the almost 400-year history of this place. It actually feels like you're sleeping in a museum exhibit because the museum theme carries through the whole property. Outside of the courtyard is the garden, which belongs to the Augustinian sisters, and it's pretty nice, but my curiosity was piqued by this big staircase. I didn't read anything about it before I visited, but there were no signs saying it was off limits or anything, so I just went right up to the top. Looks like it's maybe a fire exit for the hospital, but whatever it is, the views are great. You can even see a bit of Chateau Frontenac from here. There's also a ton of wellness activities like walking meditation tours, yoga classes, and massages. When I first booked this hotel, I thought that the monastery might be a bit out of the way, but turns out it's right in the heart of it. Walking out of the hotel, you're immediately met with the old world charm of Quebec City. This town is definitely one of the most unique places in Canada and probably one of the best representations of this country's European heritage. It's fascinating to me that Quebec City, and to some degree Montreal as well, have developed with this European flair, whereas other parts of Canada more closely resemble American cities. The East Coast, of course, does have some of this Euro vibe too. But one of the nice things about Quebec City is that a lot of the sightseeing is just walking around for free. Even in the torrential rain, Quebec City is kind of magical. Right outside the walls of the monastery is the northern section of Quebec City's famous wall. You can head here for some nice views of the marinas and port area. And you can follow the monastery wall all the way around the property and just explore the streets. There's lots of shopping nearby too on Rue Saint-Jean, I believe. Although it does feel a little bit touristy, but maybe a good spot for a souvenir. A little further along, there's historical attractions with lots of stairs, but great views from the top. And the hotel is only about a 10-minute walk to Chateau Frontenac. Okay, so I've really enjoyed my stay here. It was surprisingly great great, and I wasn't convinced I'd love staying in this type of hotel when I booked it. No private bathroom, no TV, really small rooms, but they made this place so freaking cool. Like, they've somehow made this place modern enough and comfortable enough without taking away any of the historical characteristics. They've just blended old and new so well, and I really think this is one of my most memorable hotel stays. At $219 per night plus tax, I thought this was steep, but I can live with it because what you get in return is very unique and probably hard to find anywhere else in North America. But as far as 3-star hotels go, this was pretty great. But it's just about that time we gotta check out, and we're gonna move on to our 4-star hotel option. After packing up at the Monastery, I made my way over to the second hotel, Le Saint-Pierre Auberge. This property is much more of a traditional hotel, which means I get my own bathroom and a TV. Sweet, I'm moving up in the world. Plus there's a nice Keurig coffee maker with a few coffee options, and there's tea as well. First impressions of the room, it's very nice. It's on the smaller side, but bigger than the Monastery, that's for sure. I think smaller rooms are to be expected in Old Quebec City, but it's enough space for 2 people for sure. I love the exposed brick walls, the giant wood-framed window, and the view is very Quebec City. Plus you get tons of natural light. This is another very inviting and cozy room. The bed is a queen and it's really comfy. Another nice touch is the gold painted pipes and radiator. There's no closet, but you get a wardrobe, and there's hooks at the front door. The bathroom is also small, but it works just fine for me. You get everything you'd expect, like little soaps, a real hairdryer, and a shoe mitt. Oh, a shoe mitt. The bathroom was exceptionally clean, which was really nice to see. Overall, I'm really happy with the room. After settling in, I went back downstairs to get coffee. They have a 24/7 complimentary coffee station, and you have your choice of espresso or cappuccino and like 4 or 5 other options. I love that. And the coffee is actually good. I was actually able to check in pretty early, so I headed back out to explore Quebec City a little more. I'll be posting a video soon with a list of things to see and do in Quebec City. After checking out some of the sites, I headed back to the hotel for dinner. I ate at Chateau, which is the hotel's restaurant. And this restaurant was one of the reasons I picked this place. It gets great reviews, and I can confirm the reviews are accurate. The food was delicious, and I highly recommend it if you're in the mood for Italian. I give this hotel extra points for the added touches that really elevate this property, like staff handing out umbrellas when it rains, having free high-quality coffee, and keeping ice-cold water with citrus fruit wedges in it. Plus, they have a wine and spirits bar where you can get yourself a drink. They provide you with a card to swipe, and then they charge your room. And the staff have been very friendly and helpful too. For those driving, they have valet parking with free in and out privileges. I also like all these little nooks and quiet areas. It's a really pleasant place to be, and on top of all that, it's in a fantastic location. Just like the Monastery, I thought this hotel might be on the fringes of Old Quebec, but turns out it's in an unbelievable location. You can just step outside and immediately you're immersed in historic and charming little streets and laneways. A concern for me was the fact that the hotel is located outside the city walls, but getting up to the walled part of the city is pretty easy, and you can take a funicular too if you want to. This is especially helpful for those with mobility issues. There's lots of restaurants and shops around every corner, and I found myself literally walking up and down the same streets multiple times just to take it all in. And there's so many little alleyways and pathways that weave through this neighborhood. It is honestly so fun to just explore this historic part of the city. I made my way back to the hotel and climbed into bed. I'm grateful that I get to make a living running a small media business. And as enjoyable as this job is, it doesn't come without its stresses. As a small business owner, the stresses of the unknown and the workload behind the scenes can be extremely demanding, physically and mentally. And because of that, I've spent a lot more time in recent years focusing on making positive changes in my life and focusing on my mental health to help keep me focused and moving forward. Taking time off with family, hiking, and traveling are all good options that I use to help give me clarity and a mental reset away from the hectic day-to-day stresses. Another great option is therapy. A therapist will listen, ask questions, and help you see things from new perspectives. They can give you advice and techniques to make positive changes in your life. BetterHelp is the paid partner of this video, and they're on a mission to make starting therapy easier. It's as simple as filling out a questionnaire, and you'll be matched with a therapist as soon as possible. And you can easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost if it's not the right fit. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. Staying focused on my mental health and making positive changes in my life has helped me a lot. If you feel like you need to start prioritizing your mental health and you want to make positive changes in your life, well, maybe BetterHelp is a good place to start. And you can get started today by clicking the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/Glasgow and get 10% off your first month of therapy. So after sleeping in that bed last night, I can confirm the bed was very comfortable and the room was very comfortable too. I made myself a nice Keurig coffee and then headed out to do more exploring near the hotel. The weather has finally cleared up, so today I get to experience this area on a beautiful sunny day. This hotel is only about a 5-minute walk to the cruise terminal and the waterfront area, so this could be a good spot to stay the night before your cruise departs. I would highly recommend getting up early and exploring as the city kind of wakes up in the morning. Honestly, I just love this city. It is unbelievable. It is so beautiful. So after one night at Le St. Pierre Auberge, I paid $345 plus taxes for a comfort room with one queen bed. I didn't pay extra for a better view or breakfast, so it's the most bare bones room option that you can get. The hotel is very nice, and I appreciate that they're on top of their coffee game. The location is amazing, the hotel and rooms are very cozy, and the restaurant was delicious. Would I book this hotel again? For sure. But wait, before I make any definitive statements, there's one more hotel left to see. It's time to check out of this 4-star hotel and head to our 5-star hotel option. Thankfully, my third and final hotel isn't too far from Le St. Pierre Auberge. A short walk through the old port neighborhood and a quick ride up the funicular and we're there. This is the Fairmont Le Chateau Frontenac. It's arguably Canada's most famous hotel and most photographed hotel in the world too, apparently. My room wasn't ready when I arrived, however, I still got my room keys. The front desk staff will check you in and give you the keys, and as soon as the room is ready, they will activate the keys and send you a text notification. While I waited for my room, I took a tour of the hotel, which provided lots of interesting facts and history about the property. I'm glad I did it because it makes my stay feel even more special just knowing how iconic and historically important this place is. Then, just as my tour was ending, I got a text saying my room was ready. So I collected my luggage and headed to the room. I was expecting a much smaller room, so it was a nice surprise to get a large room with, I think, 10-foot ceilings. I also wasn't expecting to have such big windows. I didn't pay for an upgraded view, but I really like the view that I got. Looking out from anywhere in the room and all you see is the iconic turrets and spires of the chateau. The view actually faces the inner courtyard where the front entrance of the hotel is located. Part of the front entrance is under construction and that's a little disappointing, but you know, it's still overall a nice view. And if you can hear construction noise, that's because they're working on it right now. The air in the room was really refreshing and everything looked really clean, including the carpets. There's lots of lighting options here too, with 4 lamps and 2 reading lights above the queen-sized bed. The lamps are dimmable, but unfortunately 2 of them aren't even working. Across from the bed is the cabinet housing the minibar, the ice bucket, the wine glasses and tumblers, the snacks, and the coffee station. And this time I get a mini Nespresso coffee maker. It comes with 4 different flavors: nice espresso cups, raw sugar, and creamer. This is something I personally really appreciate. The minibar and the snacks are all on those weighted coasters, so just be warned, if you pick one up, you're paying for it. Next to the bed is a nice large closet with a light inside, which is always nice to have. There's a big comfy chair with a table for my Nespresso, and right next to the window is a big desk and chair. This is the bathroom. I love these cute little doors. Now, this feels like a 5-star bathroom. The sink and vanity are very nice, clean, and bright. The shower is large and the tile floor feels really nice on the feet. The bathroom definitely has a premium feel and everything is sparkling clean. And of course, you get all the things like hair dryer, soaps, yada yada. I explored around the neighborhood for a bit before heading back to the hotel for dinner. But before getting dinner, I stopped in at the 1608 bar, which is located on the main level off the lobby. It's located in a large turret and it's a really cool place. The design, the decor, the whole vibe, it fits really nicely in a 5-star hotel. It's very chic. The drink prices, they're 5-star level too. I ordered Hemingway's Retreat for an eye-watering $28. It was good, but that's a one and done sort of place. After my cocktail, I headed next door for dinner at Bistro Le Sam. Again, the prices are very high, and this isn't even the priciest restaurant in the hotel. The setting is stunning though, as you overlook the boardwalk and the St. Lawrence River. And the restaurant's design and decor was beautiful also. I ordered the grilled tuna, and the presentation was very nice, and it tasted good, but overpriced. After dinner, I headed out to the boardwalk and up to the park next to the Citadel for sunset. The views from up here are absolutely stunning. What a way to end my evening at Chateau. Chateau Frontenac. I headed back to my room and crashed in my big, comfy bed. The next day, after a really great sleep, I headed out to a nearby restaurant for breakfast. And it was actually a recommendation by the hotel concierge. And man, did they deliver. Looking at the footage, I'm realizing that it doesn't look spectacular, but the flavors were amazing and it was well cooked and it was excellent. I loved it. After breakfast, I started to explore this huge castle. I started by wandering the halls, and it's a labyrinth of hallways and stairways. This whole property is so staggeringly beautiful. The doors, lights, elevators, it's all so well done and feels like such a well cared for place. From the 3rd floor, where my room is, I made my way up to the 6th floor, which is where the gym, the spa, and the pool. There's also a lounge here, but it was closed for construction. I headed down to the lobby to explore the main and lower levels. On the left side of the lobby is where the concierge is located, and on the right side is the reception desks. There's a few stores located here too, and the restaurants and bar are at the back. If you head downstairs, you'll find a side exit to the street, which can save you maybe a minute instead of going out the main doors. Down at this level is where you'll find Place Dufferin, Starbucks, and a small museum. As far as location goes, Chateau Frontenac is the centerpiece of Old Quebec, so there's really no better location than here. You have everything you need within walking distance, basically. Out front of the hotel and to the east is Dufferin Terrace, which is a huge boardwalk with views overlooking the St. Lawrence River and Lévis on the other side. To the north and west, you have tons of streets lined with cafes and restaurants, shops, and attractions. To the south, you have the Citadel and the Plains of Abraham. And down the stairs or funicular and outside the city walls is the Old Port neighborhood. This is basically the best location, and if you book a room here, you'll be staying in one of the main attractions of the city. I really enjoyed my stay here at Chateau Frontenac. It was so cool to finally stay here at one of the most iconic hotels in the world. So for one night at the Chateau Frontenac, I paid $602 plus a $35 resort fee and taxes for a 1-queen bed with courtyard or standard view. This is a beautiful city with so much character and charm and history, and after staying in 3 different parts of Old Quebec at 3 different types of hotels, I'm convinced that wherever you decide to stay, whether it's one of the hotels in this video or somewhere else, you'll have a fantastic time. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you want to see what videos I'm working on next, you can follow along on Instagram. Oh, come on. Check out this video next.